Hello and welcome, I'm Sebastian and I make travel videos. But today we're gonna talk about the Tamron 17-28 f2.8. Before we begin the review, just so you know, in the box you'll find the lens itself, the lens cap, and the lens hood. Just wanted to show you up close how this lens looks. It is a beautiful, it's a plastic, but it's a very good build quality lens. As you can see on the front, Tamron 17-28 f2.8 Tamron zoom range from 17 to 28. So wide angle lens for the Sony system, which is like a small brother to the Tamron 28-75 f2.8. In this review, I'm gonna base this on the time that I've used this and on the time we've been in Vienna, where I took this out for testing and how it performed. But also I'll be doing a little bit of a comparison to that lens. So it's gonna be, like the big brother to small brother, two different ranges, but the same kind of lens. They look pretty much identical, but a smaller one. So without further ado, let's begin the review. First things first, you have to remember that this is a wide angle lens. It is a good complementary for something like this, which is the Tamron 28-75, which works at a different length. Because it's a wide angle lens, it's great for indoors, architecture, and wide landscape photos and cityscapes. Whenever you feel like you cannot go back anymore and you want to see a little bit more, this is the lens that you should probably pick. It is a great complementary to the lens that you're watching from right now, which is the Tamron 28-75, because that way you have from 17 to 75 f2.8 constant through the whole range. And because of that, it's very nice to actually use it with that lens. Better yet, they actually can take the same filters because they're the same size on the front. So if you have any filters, expensive filters for example, for your Tamron 28-75, you can also use them here. It actually looks like a little brother to it, and the build quality is identical. Just that it's smaller, and that actually zooming in and out doesn't actually make it bigger or smaller. Rather, it all moves inside, so you don't really get to, see that. Slightly actually lighter than the Tamron 28-75, but it still keeps the 2.8 aperture. The build quality is amazing. It has like these rubberized elements with plastic that is very good quality, with, I guess, metal casket, which is always a plus. You have to remember that getting a wide angle lens is a different kind of lens. You don't go for the bokeh essentially as much for the viewing, like the wide angle. That is one thing that I noticed when I was in Vienna. For this type of shooting photos and videos, I tend to use my Tamron and my other 85mm because they kind of get more background blur, and in terms pretty much make the photos stand out a little bit more. And also because of that, the footage that I get for the videos seems a little bit more cinematic. With this lens, you will not get that, to be honest. It's a different kind of lens, different kind of shooting. It is made so that you see a little bit more. In my opinion, even though it doesn't look as cinematic, it can be great for a storyteller if you want to show a little bit more in your travel vlogs or any kind of videos. Many people like to actually vlog on this kind of lens because if you actually hold it in like an arm's length and use the 17, which is a little bit wider, and you use the f2.8, it will make it so that the blur is actually evident. You can actually see a nice background blur. But the thing is, I found myself actually sticking to the 28-75 when vlogging. So if you're looking for a wider lens for vlogging, this is gonna be perfect. It's just that I'm a little bit more used to using that lens, and because I pretty much run and gun with that lens, it just seems more appropriate for me to just stick with it and have it while vlogging. And I just kind of found myself used to it and like the look of it. So it's actually a personal preference, because I know that vlogging with this is so much easier because it's so wide, especially with no flip out LCD screen. I still think that both of them are amazing for it. So if you just have that lens, the Tamron 28-75, it's still great for vlogging. But if you want a little bit wider, I would suggest you pick this up because it has not only the zoom range capabilities in case you need a little bit of zooming, it still has the 2.8, so it's still beautifully looking. So here are some things about this lens. It creates very sharp and very great looking images, and they're very bright because of the 2.8 aperture, but the sharpness and the quality of the photos and the videos, even in low light, is amazing. Like, it is really amazing. It is amazing if you use this range. If you're in for that range, 17 to 28 on a full frame, well, it's just amazing. Like, it is truly amazing for that range. The thing is, you have to ask yourself if you're gonna use that range. I know a lot of people that do travel videos will use that because it's a little bit wider. You can show a little bit more. So it's a little bit weird that I found myself not using it as much as I would like to, but I still think it is totally worth it. Just like the bigger brother, the Tamron 28-75. In my opinion, those two lenses are amazing value for money. What you get from those lenses, pretty much with those two lenses, you have the whole range that you need for run and gun shooting, and you have everything in two lenses. It's incredible how good those two are, and that keeps true for this lens. But my recommendation is ask yourself if you're actually gonna be shooting that wide and if you're looking for that kind of lens. It is actually a little bit a short range kind of a lens compared to like a Sony, because Sony has like 16 to 35. So it is a little bit shorter on both ends in essence, but I think they're making it more like, you know, the affordable lens, at the same time trying to keep the quality, and at the same time they already have the 28-75, so it was easier for them probably to just make it like the step down from 28 and then up from 28. I think it's actually logical. It's just in a way a shame, because if you are actually, you know, using just one lens like this, and you don't have the other one, you could do it with a little bit more zoom. The thing here is, I guess they're thinking people are gonna use both. In that case, it is more than welcome. But to sum up, I think it is totally worth the price of that lens for the quality you get compared to other wide angle lenses. And I feel it might have, but we'll have to check it. I'm gonna put it right here. I think it has not as close focus, you know, like the closest point to like the Tamron 28-75, but I'm not sure. It just felt that way. It could be because it's a wide angle and just, you know, it works differently. So in short, summarize this whole review and me mumbling about this lens for a couple minutes. Well, it is a 17 to 28 f2.8, very beautiful, very sharp, very good quality photos, very useful if you use that range. So that is one thing you should ask yourself. Do you use that kind of range? And the quality, the build quality, and the pretty much like the value for money is just astronomical. As always with the Tamron, they're amazing value for money lenses. Pretty much the best lenses you can get for that kind of money. And if you're into like a wide angle lens, I would highly recommend getting like something like this. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it really works wonders. So, will I be changing from my 28-75 to this lens for vlogging, for our travel filmmaking? Not really. During our testing in Vienna, about 90% of the time I would use the Tamron 28-75, with only 10% allocated for this lens and my 85mm. But for me, it is like this because it's just not my style of shooting, and I would only use this when I felt like I needed more wide angle lens. But I firmly believe if you are using or you want a wide angle lens, this is amazing value for money. And the couple photos and video and clips that we have with this lens, well, they were really worth it. And if you shoot in that particular range, I highly recommend you get this lens. I hope this review shows you and tells you a little bit more about this lens before you purchase. But I would like to thank Focus Nordic, the sole distributor of Tamron here in Poland, for sending this lens for me to test and letting me use this for a little bit longer than I expected. So I would really like to thank them for sending this out for me to test, and if you want to learn more about their offer, check out the link down below for Focus Nordic. Before we end this video, a couple things that I wanted to mention very quickly. First off, if you like the music in this video or in any other of my work, check out Epidemic Sound and Artlist. There are gonna be links down below. If you choose to sign up through the Artlist link, you will get 2 extra months on top of your purchase. And if you choose to try Epidemic, you will get a 30 days free trial. Second off, if you would like to support our channel, check out my Patreon and my website. And last but not least, if you want to join a travel community, check out Travel the World. It's a Facebook travel community. If you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. It's gonna be linked down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.